Do you feel about the rapper Rick Ross having the same name?
Well, the fact that he stole my name, not that we had the same name, he actually stole my whole story, my identity, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he built his career off of my legacy.
Oh, no, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I never wanted to work with him.
I'll buy your masters. You ready? I will buy your masters.
Where the truth behind fame gets exposed. Ever wonder why 50 Cent's moving like he's untouchable right now? It's because Rick Ross just made one of the boldest and most ruthless moves in recent memory. One that's got the streets talking non-stop. The word out is Ross allegedly played Big Meech, and things might have gotten so serious that Meech considered putting out a deadly order. That's how wild this situation has become. What's shocking is everybody saw the setup from a mile away, except Meech. The streets were buzzing, the warning signs were flashing, and yet he walked right into it. It's like something ripped straight from a season finale of a gritty crime series. But honestly, why trust a guy who used to be a corrections officer? That breaks one of the deepest rules in the street game. Everyone knows that kind of history doesn't disappear. It lingers like a shadow. Now, when it comes to 50 Cent, he's airing it all out with zero filter.
Doing right now, my shoulder broke, but we still getting to the money. We still count paper. This ain't a pump and dump.
He's firing shots online at both Big Meech and Lil Meech. No coded messages, just raw and direct. And every time he posts, Rick Ross seems to be laughing harder than before, soaking it all in. What makes it crazier? Seeing Meech out here smiling and vibing with Ross like nothing ever happened. Instead of staying loyal after coming home from prison, Meech aligned himself with a longtime rival. Someone who's been at odds with 50 for over 10 years. That move flipped the whole narrative. 50 didn't expect Meech to declare war, but watching him pose for pics with Ross after everything, that had to sting. After years of support, seeing the one he stood up for turn his back must have felt like betrayal in the worst way. And Meech didn't just let the blade sit. He drove it in deeper without hesitation. Then came the link-up with Floyd Mayweather. And right there beside him, Lil Meech. The same Lil Meech who 50 Cent put on the map, gave a $5 million opportunity to, helped launch his acting career, and opened doors for him that most never get. And now he's out here posted up like everything's sweet, acting like none of that ever happened. That's how you repay the man who helped shift your family's legacy. Cole doesn't even begin to describe it.
Bad for Lil Meech. I don't feel bad for no grown man in this planet. Like, I'm a grown man. I gotta feel bad for another grown man. Like, you a grown man too. Asking for my sympathy for you be alright. Poetic.
Sure, some online like to argue that 50 just benefited off Big Meech's name. But let's be real, at least 50 put in the grind. He built more than a check. He turned it into a business, created opportunities for others, stayed respectful, and carried it all with professionalism. Now compare that with Rick Ross. What did Ross bring to the table? He treated Meech like a disposable pawn in some shady street chess match, moved him when it benefited him, and dropped him when it didn't. No loyalty, just strategy. Ross played this out like he saw the whole blueprint ahead of time. He acted like the mastermind, stirring the pot, letting tension rise, and hyping up his name while sitting comfortably out the way. He didn't step onto the field. He lit the fire, then vanished into thin air like a street magician. And just when the pressure started to boil and the spotlight turned on him, suddenly Ross pops back up claiming a shoulder injury. Perfect timing, right? Then he runs to social media, making sure everyone hears about it, like we're supposed to be sending him get-well-soon messages. But let's not be fooled. That injury story, a complete smokescreen. A slick distraction from the real heat, because the streets were lighting him up over that crypto mess he'd been tied to. The infamous boss token scam. People started calling him Rug Ross for a reason, claiming he pulled the rug on loyal supporters who trusted him with their hard-earned money. No warning, no refund, not even a basic apology. He and his crew allegedly took the bag and vanished like nothing ever happened. And the timing? Way too convenient. Just days after Ross was seen treating Big Meech like a king, acting like everything was smooth between them, the crypto bomb exploded. Now, all those sketchy moves are coming back to bite him. Ross played it sloppy, lying, scheming, and then pretending to be hurt when things got too hot. But behind the scenes, word is he was the one hyping Meech up, encouraging him to demand more money from 50 Cent. If that's true, Ross wasn't just being shady. He was playing both sides like a chess master. That kind of betrayal, you couldn't write a better plot twist. Now Big Meech is out here with barely $1 to his name, and the industry is moving like he's radioactive. People are keeping their distance like just standing next to him might mess up their whole brand. And remember those Wingstop franchises folks thought were steady feeding him? Turns out Ross allegedly sold off most of them behind closed doors, keeping just enough open to look official. Meanwhile, he flipped the real money into property and other low-key ventures to build his own empire without a trace. Slick moves, but the streets are starting to connect the dots. Meech actually had a shot. He could have turned things around, earned back some street respect, and possibly cleaned up his image. But once Rick Ross entered the picture, everything spiraled fast. The wrong choices were made. The wrong company kept. And now Meech is stuck watching the empire crumble, one bad move after another. Lil Meech didn't help the situation either. He was out here trying to stunt with big names like Ghana, blowing through money like it was falling from the sky, dropping ridiculous stacks on designer brands like Chrome Hearts, flexing hard for social media. Meanwhile, the whole foundation underneath him was cracking and crumbling. That flashy lifestyle vanished just as quickly as it came. Now online users are calling it out, saying Big Meech's bond with Rick Ross was fake from the jump. And they're not wrong. It ended as fast as it started. Even Michael Rainey Jr. had something to say. He wasn't shy about it either. He didn't hold back, making it clear he wasn't feeling sympathy for any of them. He called it how he saw it. Grown men should have spotted the setup before it hit. From the sidelines, it was obvious. And watching the chaos unfold, of course, 50 Cent was enjoying every second of it. He's been lurking online, dropping shots and throwing shade with his signature precision. When 50's upset, he doesn't just talk. He launches bombs that shake the whole block. It's full-on threat mode when he's on a mission. Even DJ Vlad had to admit it. 50 is the last person you want to get on the wrong side of. He'll flip the script, drag it out for months, and scorch everything around just to make his point. Just to say, I told you so. And let's be clear, this fire isn't just for Big Meech. 50 is keeping a list, and no one is safe when he decides it's time for payback. Ross knows what it feels like to take a hit. Remember when he left his own squad hanging in Canada, got clowned, trampled in public, and then tried to spin the whole thing as some wild loyalty test? Let's be real, that wasn't about loyalty. That was straight up shady behavior. He hyped Big Meech up heavy, pretended to be close, filled his head with big dreams, told him to forget 50, and painted a future full of money, fame, and major influence. He promised to bring Meech back to the top, but in the end, it was nothing but smoke and mirrors. All words. No follow-through. Even Whack 100 didn't hold back. He said what a lot of folks were thinking. If Ross really meant to help Big Meech, he would have moved smarter, kept it professional, and shown real intent. But instead, he went full clown mode, pretending he was going to buy the rights to the entire BMF series, talking wild in interviews, trying to mock 50 Cent like he had the upper hand. That so-called power play fizzled out and turned to dust. These days, Ross doesn't even mention Big Meech's name. It's like he disappeared from his world. And why? Because Ross only speaks on situations that put money in his pocket. If there's no profit, there's no loyalty. And here's where things start getting real messy. Rumors are flying that it wasn't 50 who got Meech's Welcome Home performance cancelled. It was actually Ross. That's right. The same event people accused 50 of sabotaging might have been taken down by Ross from the shadows. Allegedly, Ross was working behind the scenes to block Meech from shining. No bag, no spotlight, no grand return, all while pretending to support him publicly. Cold-blooded moves with a smile on his face. Ross never wanted Meech to shine, that much is clear now. He didn't want Meech glowing up or taking the spotlight. What Ross really wanted was for Meech to stay quiet, stay in the background, and play the role of a side character in his own story, while Ross stayed front and center, making moves and grabbing headlines. Just another pawn in Ross' fake loyalty game. And when things finally hit the fan, 50 Cent didn't go on a rant. He dropped one cold post and bowed out. No emotion, no drama, just a message that said everything without saying too much. Don't call my phone. I really hope your day goes well. Happy Valentine's Day. The tone, calm, ice cold. But the subtext, a warning shot from someone who doesn't make noise until it's time to strike. At first, folks didn't want to believe the setup. They thought it was all love. But now it's starting to add up, especially when you rewind back to that iconic BMF track where Ross rapped, "I think I'm Big Meech." That line made it sound like Ross was showing respect. But here's the twist. What if it wasn't about honoring Meech? What if Ross was trying to be Meech? Sounds wild, right? Not really. When you look at Ross' whole blueprint, his image, lyrics, and business plays, they've all been built on real underworld legends. Names, stories, even the aura borrowed from those who actually lived that life. Ross crafted his empire by echoing figures like Meech and others who built real street power. And this isn't some made-up conspiracy. It's a pattern. For those watching closely, it's becoming way too clear to ignore. These aren't wild claims, they're straight-up facts. Let's rewind and break it all down. Rick Ross didn't just come up with his rap name out of nowhere. That identity was lifted straight from one of the most legendary street figures of the 1980s, the real Freeway Rick Ross. A man who ran a multi-state operation, whose name carried serious weight long before the rapper hit the scene. While the real Rick was locked behind bars, the rapper built a brand using that very name. But when Freeway Rick got out, he wasn't about to let that slide. He openly called out the rapper for stealing his identity, even taking him to court. He filed a lawsuit accusing him of trademark infringement and identity theft, bringing serious receipts with him. That lawsuit kicked off in 2010. Freeway Rick came in strong, proving his name had credibility in the streets and was tied to real-life events, not just entertainment. Meanwhile, the rapper, real name William Leonard Roberts II, was already winning in the spotlight. Fame, fortune, music deals, and a past as a correctional officer. Yet, he carried the name like it was his own badge of honor. Then came the court decision in 2013. The judge ruled in favor of the rapper, saying his use of the name was protected under the First Amendment. Basically, the court said it was free speech. Just like that, the real Rick Ross lost his claim, even though it was his story, his reputation, and his identity that helped build the image. But now think about this. If Rick Ross had no issue profiting off someone else's name and empire once, is it really far-fetched to believe he tried to do the same with Big Meech? His pattern of behavior is loud. Name, image, legacy. It's all fair game in Ross' playbook if it boosts his power. That's not theory, that's history repeating itself. And now Lil Meech is caught right in the middle of this mess, and it's tearing everything apart. The industry doesn't know what to make of him anymore. Is he carving his own path, or is he blindly following in his father's footsteps? The moves don't line up. 1 minute he's on top, starring in one of the biggest shows on TV, and the next, it's like he vanished from the spotlight entirely. That's what happens when you turn your back on the hand that helped feed you. At least that's what fans online are saying. Blogs are flooding timelines, old interviews are resurfacing, and digital sleuths are pulling receipts left and right. In this era of internet watchdogs, nothing slips through the cracks. And now the truth's coming out. Big Meech's return isn't going down the way anyone expected. It's rough. It's messy. And with 50 Cent still watching from the sidelines, waiting for the perfect time to strike again, this saga is far from finished. Let's face it, Meech's big homecoming is starting to feel like a missed opportunity. After spending years locked away, many thought he'd come back sharper, wiser, more focused. But instead, it looks like the same mistakes are being repeated, with new players. One online comment said it perfectly, that's karma served hot and fresh. Now, rumors are even swirling that Big Meech abandoned his longtime friend Cuffy, someone who's been with him since childhood. Another betrayal. Another crack in the foundation. The loyalty that once defined Meech's name is being questioned on all sides. And the internet. It's dialed in like never before. Every photo, every caption, every silence. It's all being dissected. This story has been pure chaos from the start. Nothing simple. Nothing settled. So, what do you think? Is Big Meech secretly plotting revenge against Rick Ross? Or has he taken the L and chosen to move quietly in the shadows? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're ready for more real stories straight from the heart of the streets, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. This drama is far from over.